Serve on 3 of the state's regional economic development councils. Each of these councils is headed by the lieutenant governor, a representative from the business community, and a representative from academia. Lists of other council members include people who have donated to Governor Cuomo and members of the Committee to Save New York. This is not a very surprising development, but still an interesting one. Here to discuss all of this further are insiders, veterans of the state political scene who like to share their 2 cents every once in a while. Joining us tonight is Steve Greenberg. He ran the press shop for 2 Assembly speakers before opening up his own business, Greenberg Public Relations. He's also a pollster for Siena College. And then across the table is former Pataki Press Secretary Bob Bellafiore. He is now the Vice President of Partner Services for the National Heritage Academies, a charter school management organization. Guys, hi.
Hi, Liz. Hi.
How you doing?
Belated happy birthday.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Nothing like a little reminder that I'm getting old and doddering. I appreciate that.
But you will always be young to me.
That's kind. All right. Anyway, before this devolves.
You're not comparatively old and doddering at this table, let me tell you.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. So the governor's economic development councils, there will be 10 of them. They will be competing for $1 billion. I like to consider this sort of a free-for-all. I mean, but, you know, I guess it could be effective. I mean, is this an effective way of doing things? You guys didn't do it, for example.
You know, effectiveness we'll have to see. I think the governor's done a really smart job of laying it out. It seems like he's picked the right kinds of people to be on this, people, leaders in academia, leaders in the business community, people with experience in job creation and innovation. So he's creating the right connections, and I think doing it regionally makes it interesting because he does make it a bit of a competition. I mean, you see it as a free-for-all. I see it as a good old-fashioned family of 10 with a limited number of pork chops in the middle of the table.
Yeah, but the problem is everybody has to eat.
Well, you end up having regional competition anyway for economic development, right? They used to call it piracy. People from Long Island would lure business from upstate. People
and
from one part of upstate would lure business from another part of the state. The governor's challenge will be to try to get them to act in competition with each other and yet be collaborative, knowing that each region has to succeed if the state's economy is going to turn around. And that will be a challenge for the governor.
I should probably just leave the table now because I want to agree with pretty much everything Bob said.
Steve.
And that upsets me.
And me too. Me three.
I take it back.
This is not good TV.
No, I understand. But Bob's main point that he's right about is effectiveness. We won't know this for a while.
Okay.
Will these be effective? What we do know is that this is a new way to try it that hasn't been tried before, and that's good. And to get to the point about the 10 regions competing against each other, I think the fail-safe mechanism there is Lieutenant Governor Duffy. He is the chairman of each of these 10 councils. I think it's he and the governor's staff who have to make sure that they compete but don't turn it into a food fight. It's not going to work if one region gets $800 million and the other two
no, it's
split
not.
up
And look
$200
at
million.
New York City has so much more going for it. For example, there it's its own. Those 5 boroughs are its own council, if you will, than like, I don't know, some other upstate entity.
No question, but also New York City has its own economic development capability, much more so than do any of the upstate or suburban regions.
And it's more than it's about much more than who gets the money. It's about who can actually create long-term sustaining jobs.
Oh, I thought you were going to say bragging rights.
No.
Sorry.
It's about what works and who's going to actually create long-term sustainable jobs that are going to be available for people who are kids now and and people coming through